This is how football helmets were tested in the early 1900s. Someone had to hand-carve all of the president's eyes on Mount Rushmore. Tourists used to be able to freely climb up the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt to sunbathe and have tea parties. For some reason unbeknownst to me, in 1920 a policeman did this off a building in New York. Car seats for children were incredibly dangerous in the 1940s. The original design for the Michelin Man was absolutely terrifying. This is what an early design for an electric hair dryer looked like. These are the contestants in the 1930 Miss Lovely Eyes beauty pageant. This 3,000-pound absolute unit is Lubber, the world's largest horseback in 1930. Easter Bunny costumes were absolutely horrifying in the 1950s. This poster from the late 1800s advertises a fight between the world's thinnest man and the world's fattest man. This is the Dynasphere, a giant wheel vehicle invented by Dr. J. Pers that could go as fast as 30 miles per hour. Before CGI, this is how MGM filmed its iconic movie intro. The very first iteration of Ronald McDonald was created by Willard Scott in 1963. This totally safe device was known as a baby cage or wire cage, suspended out of an apartment window meant to give babies born in cities extra light and air. For a brief but wondrous moment in time, you could get potatoes from a vending machine. Whiskey too. Beer vending machines were also a thing. Before modern car washes were invented, one particularly wacky idea was for cars to drive around through water in a circle. On September 3, 1967, Sweden made a shift from driving on the left side of the road to driving on the right. This is what a gym looked like 2 centuries ago in 1831. This totally safe device was known as a baby cage, a wire cage, suspended out of an apartment window meant to give babies. Born in cities extra light and air. This is 455-pound Pete van der Zwaard, aka the fattest man in Europe in 1955. This is Pauline Musters, the shortest woman ever to live. In the 1930s, this couple won in Atlantic City dance marathon after dancing for 1,473 hours. And yes, people did fall asleep standing up while dancing at these marathons. This is the View phone, a video phone developed by Toshiba in 1964 that allowed for real-time proto-FaceTiming. In the early 1900s, one way to transport tons of materials and train parts was to suspend it hundreds of feet in the air and tow it across a canyon. This man won a costume competition in 1894 while dressed as a piece of bacon. During World War II, Walt Disney developed a Mickey Mouse gas mask, designed to help children get comfortable and relaxed while wearing the mask. This is the world's longest limo, the American Dream limo. This is what a real deal, true-to-life Muffin Man looked like in 1930s London. This is one of the earliest designs for roller skates. They didn't catch on for some reason. In 1909, pigs finally flew. Icarus the pig, right, went on a short flight with John Moore Brabazon and finally did the impossible. Fiat once had a car factory with a working test track on the roof. This is Jack the Baboon, a South African baboon who worked as a signalman at a railway station in the 1800s. During his almost decade of railway work, Jack never made a single mistake. Here's Hannes de Jong, the 1970 pole sitting world champion, well, sitting on a pole. Before the invention of radar, soldiers used big, old Looney Tunes-looking contraptions to listen for enemy planes. This is the PLP-50, the smallest car ever produced. One of the more ridiculous inventions of the 19th century was this, a mass shaving machine designed to shave a bunch of men all at once. Speaking of other things that didn't catch on, this was a proposed firefighting suit designed to drench the wearer in water. This is Venus the Bulldog, the official mascot of the HMS Van Sittard, a World War II destroyer in the Royal Navy. This is what a mobile home looked like in the 1930s. One of the more creative ways bootleggers would hide alcohol during Prohibition was inside trucks lined with wood, complete with a tiny trapdoor. And finally, in 1961, auditions were held for the role of the Black Cat. In the film adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat, lots of black cats showed up,